Hey y'all, El Che here. Welcome back to Chase Forge. Being that tech guy, I am excited to get to this time of the year as it is the season for big tech releases. This year has been no different. Let's take a look at the tech we all want this holiday season. Let's go. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you're enjoying the content that I make and consider subscribing. I do believe this probably the most amount of tech has been released in such a short amount of time I've ever seen. We started with Nvidia in mid-September, who dropped the 3080. It was a beast of a card, but it came and went so quickly and it's hard to find still now. Later in the month, we had an even more powerful 3090 drop. An amazing card again, but can't be found anywhere to be purchased. We saw scalpers and bots buy many of the early stock for both of these releases, which has made it more difficult to buy these new GPUs, but also causes all other graphics cards to be in low supply or no supply. So many people with cash in hand are in need of an upgrade to their older PC builds who can neither wait for stock or have the confidence that stock will be available in the near future. Next up, AMD released their 5000 series CPUs, which have been much anticipated. The 5600X, the 5800X, the 5900X, and the 5950X, which start at 6 cores and 12 threads and go all the way up to 16 cores and 32 threads. With big promises of higher performance and claims of taking the gaming crown from Intel, and from the many reviewers who have done their own tests confirming exactly that, which is great for all of us who have been waiting for competition from the big two. This, along with Apple's M1 chip coming out soon, has caused Intel to step their game up and seem to be doing everything they can to do more with upcoming CPUs. As someone who's also looking for one of these new chips to upgrade their system, it's just another great product that's out there that seems to be sold out everywhere. This didn't just stop with PC parts, as we saw the release of Microsoft and Sony's next-gen consoles. First up, the Series S and X. The smaller Series X comes with a custom Zen 2 CPU of 8 cores, 4 teraflops and 20 compute units. Again, a custom RDNA 2 GPU from AMD, 10 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, 512 gigabytes custom NVMe SSD, all this put together to target 1440p. Get excited, 1440p gaming. That's actually what I game on my PC. Which will be interesting to see, as many 4K TVs have an upscale function that can take a 1080p image and split 1 pixel into 4 and keeping the sharpness. But taking 1 pixel into 2 just gives you strange results. I'm working on a video to see if it would be better to use the new consoles on a monitor versus a television. Not many people who recently bought a television even had frames per second as something that was necessary. Subscribe so you don't miss that. The bigger and more powerful Xbox Series X boasts a 8-core custom Zen CPU at higher frequencies, 12 teraflops and 52 compute units, also a custom RDNA 2 GPU, 16 gigs of GDDR6 memory, 1 terabyte custom NVMe SSD, and they're claiming that they can do 4K gaming at 120 frames. I've seen many reviews so far, and I'll wait to get my system to run some tests on the 4K performance, comparing the PS5, Xbox, and PC, monitor versus TV, load times, and a slew of other tests. Though I did receive an email that mine will be coming closer to the end of the year. And then just 2 days later, we had the PS5 release, which came with a custom Zen 2 CPU of 8 cores as well, 36 compute units on a custom RDNA GPU, 10.28 teraflops, 16 gigs of GDDR RAM, and it does have an 825 gigabyte NVMe SSD, but only about 667 of that is usable storage on both the disk and diskless versions. But again, what seems to be limited quantities at launch and seem to be sold out everywhere. With a few major releases left this year, looking at Apple's M1 chip on the new MacBook Air on the 17th, AMD's 6800 and 1600 XT on the 18th, and we will finish off the rest of the year with the 6900 XT, which releases on December 8th. It would be no surprise to me if those things were sold out just moments after they become available. Many of these things are using AMD parts. I've always liked Team Red, but they might be spread a little too thin for this year. If history is any indication, you really don't want the first batch of any of these. I've been that tech guy long enough to remember all the Xbox and PS launches. The PS2 had disk errors, so many that it led to lawsuits. The Xbox was notorious for having the red ring of death, which I even remember happened to one of their display models at one of their launch events. The PS3, which came very expensive and delayed, also had similar issues with Xbox with the notorious yellow light of death. And if you had a batch of the bigger sized PS3s, it also came with a clock glitch named the Apocalypse PS3. And we saw both the last gen systems, the PS4 and the Xbox, have to grow and transform so many different times until they reached their final form of the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. So issues of one shape or another are very common with tech. The Xbox Series X seems to have disk issues, and apparently Xbox even had to tell people to stop vaping into them. And the PS5 is no different, as it already has a couple issues, some of them which cost a full brick to the system. I truly believe that there wasn't a shortage on the supply chain, which there might have been, then all these companies truly underpredicted how much the demand would be. While the world is crazy this year and disposable income seems to be less available, it might have caused some execs to believe that many people wouldn't be able to buy some of these things. But as the new normal will continue into 2021, I know that finding something that doesn't feel so different would be much appreciated. To be able to hop onto the couch, grab your favorite controller, and find friends online and party up, I know that being able to game on the new shiny thing would help bring some normality to this year. I know that I'm going to try to squeeze some more Valhalla before my next video. Like always, stay healthy, stay safe, Elche out. I never got the red ring of death or many other issues with my systems, but now with the ability to film things, I'm not wishing this on anybody, including myself, but if it were to happen, I think it would make for a nice video.